Hey, we're going to talk about pedal tones today, and pedal tones that will actually open up your sound. So if you have a small sound, an airy sound, a weak sound in any register, and if you're watching my videos, it's likely that you're probably thinking that you have a small or a weak sound or a pinch sound in the upper register. There's a cure for that, or at least there's one cure. There's probably more than one cure, obviously. But you might want to pay particular attention to the fourth tier of pedal tones. So if you've taken my courses before, you know that I've kind of delineated the pedal tones into 5 different tiers. And the fourth tier of the pedal tones is the tier of pedal tones that tends to concentrate on opening up your sound. You'll notice that in order to play the fourth tier, you can't use the same embouchure setting exactly as you would if you were playing middle C or low C up to middle C and above. You'll notice that you have to drop your jaw down a little bit more, and your lower jaw kind of jets out a little bit, and the mouthpiece will slide up a little bit more on the top lip. So I'm speaking to trumpet players, some other brass players. You can kind of configure this for your own instrument. But for trumpet players, the fourth tier starts on double pedal C. And it goes down to double pedal B, double pedal B flat, double pedal A flat. Now here's where you got to pay attention. Double pedal G must be fingered like this. Don't cheat and play it open. And the last note in tier 4, the pedal tone would be the double pedal F sharp or G flat. Must be fingered 1, 2, and 3. Don't cheat and do that. You want to focus on playing these as loud as possible because you're developing the muscle tissue and the stabilizing muscles to keep your aperture open with a loud sound. Now if you practice this every day, you'll start to notice that you're able to play with a slightly, almost microscopically, slightly open aperture in the other registers. And I say slightly because it's barely noticeable. But that slight increase in your aperture is going to get more air in there, a little bit slower moving air, but you're going to have the chops to contain it, and you're going to get a better sound. It's just science and mathematics, right, folks? So there's a lot of ways that you can get down into the fourth tier, and just for time's sake today, I'm just going to give you the simple version. You could do a scale down to it. You could do, I'll just give you an example. A scale would be, if I started on low C, that would be arriving at the double pedal C, the first note of the fourth tier. You can do the arpeggio. And today we're just going to do octaves. That's the simplest way. In fact, if you're not used to doing pedal tones at all, you might just want to do octaves. The reason is because it gives you the test pitch. You're going to be able to keep that in your head to be able to go down to hit the pedal tone. As you already know, pedal tones are not real notes on the horn. They don't really exist. They exist in the strength of your lips and the strength of your embouchure. After all, the lowest natural note that we can play is concert E or low F sharp, right? G flat. It's the lowest natural acoustically on the horn. So anything else below that is a manipulation by your lips and your embouchure and even in your tongue arch or lack of tongue arch and your air. So, and then some other people would say that it's just one glorified lip bend. At any rate, it's the fourth tier that's going to open up your sound. So the reason I'm telling you that is because some people think practicing long tones in the low register forever and working your way down chromatically will open up your sound. I'm convinced that that won't open up your sound. It'll make your tone better because tone comes from tone. So if you're doing long tones, your tone will improve. The quality of the sound will improve, but the big and the fullness and the power of your sound, I don't think will. you will improve your tone by doing that. So if you've been doing that for your tone, don't stop. If you need a bigger sound in all registers, this is what you need to be doing. So we're going to do octaves. Remember, I just gave you a couple different ways to get down there, but we're just going to do octaves. So we can start on low C. Big breath. Notice that the mouthpiece, my normal settings here, it kind of came up a little bit, and my lower jaw kind of came out just a little bit like a bulldog. So I'm not using my normal mouthpiece and embouchure setting. I mean, it's close, but you do have to vary it. So for people that have tried to get down into the fourth tier and maintain their low C embouchure, you might be doing that, right? And find that you can't do it. The reason is you can't maintain your lower, your normal plain embouchure, even a low register embouchure for tier 4 notes. You have to adjust your embouchure. So let's go down to B. Okay, really buzzes out your lips pretty good, and I'm definitely using a wider aperture to get that. I like to rest a little bit in between these, sometimes up to 30 seconds, depending on how I'm feeling, maybe even a minute. But for today's trumpet lesson here, we're just going to go through a little bit quicker than normal. However, you should have made a note for yourself. You're going to go through those slower because you're going to be adding in the rest. So try to put 30 seconds between each one of these as a break at a minimum. So we're on to B flat. And the next one I'm going to try to get really close so you can see what's happening. By the way, they don't get easier when you go lower. They get harder, especially the last two, G and G flat, are pretty tough if you play them with the right fingering. So here's A, low A. And rest a little bit. And go down to double pedal A flat. We're still in tier 4. These are tier 4 pedal tones. So A flat. You're really trying to get this all relaxed. Very responsive. And I can feel it working right now. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the two hardest of these, which would be G. And sometimes this is like rolling the dice if they're going to come out just perfectly like the other ones. So here we go on G, double pedal G, tier 4, and you must finger it 1 and 3. Okay, that's tough. So I'm going to rest a little bit longer because just by doing this, I can already tell it's kind of taxing on my chops. I've played quite a bit today, so I can already feel it. You wouldn't think that it would really do that, right? It does, so you're going to have to try this to believe it, be a believer of it. But okay, I'm going to rest a little bit longer. I can really feel it here in my chops. Tingling, the vibration is making a tingling feeling here in my lips. Kind of tingles, more so than fatigue, but the embouchure that's surrounding my lips here is, I can really feel it being used and kind of fatiguing out. Let's try the lowest one. This is the hardest one in my opinion. Low G flat, F sharp, or this is actually double pedal G flat, double pedal F sharp, the last note of tier 4. actually came out just textbook perfect. So, like I said, sometimes it's like Russian roulette. You never know what you're going to get on those low ones. But anyway, I'm glad that it was able to come out pretty good for this demonstration here. So after you do that, you could rest and then come back and play the normal parts of the horn. I just feel like the tone is really big, really brassy, really powerful. I can just feel it, the difference right there. Now, you may not be able to feel an instantaneous change and difference when you go to play in the normal register, but it will happen for you. So if you've been doing long tones to increase your power and open up your sound, not so much. It will actually make your tone better. So if you're doing that to make your tone better, great. If you already feel that you have a pretty decent tone and you want to focus on opening up that sound so you can really put a lot of power there without things shutting down, without getting a pinch sound, or without getting a very weak, anemic sound. And a lot of times for brass players that happens when we go where? Yeah. So this will definitely do the trick for you. It's just one in the bag of techniques I got. So let's recap. We're talking about tier 4 pedal tones, and this is for trumpet. If you play another instrument, you can figure it out for yourself. Tier 4 pedal tones, those are doubles, and you must use the correct fingerings on those last two. So try this for about a week and notice if you begin to have this more opened, bigger, brassier sound in all the registers, not just the upper register. So I'm Kurt Thompson, and click down in the description below and I'll put a hyperlink for my website in case you're interested in more information on some of the other tutorials that I have in my big courses. I've got the 16-week course and the lead trumpet course and a bunch of other stuff. So hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.